Today is the warmest day since we started. Weather is always like this, It gets warm few day and then cold few day, warm few day, cold few day. In about, again, few days, like 3 days later, it'll be cold again. Yeah. Hot, cold, not feeling well, enjoying the practice and not enjoying practice. None of those things should matter. We just have to do it, okay? Yeah. There was a great Tibetan Mahasiddha. Mahasiddha means completely realized being. Definition of Mahasiddha is not just realize, but realize to a point where it has a miraculous power. In other words, power over all the elements. It can control anything. So Mahasiddha's definition of Mahasiddha is miracle, power of miracle. They can do mind over matter thing. There was one Mahasiddha called Drukpa Kunley. A very unique one. He was known as a crazy Mahasiddha because he had a very unique way of teaching and making people understand, what's going on, so to speak. And then he was, point out Buddhist practitioners like shortcoming very often, the weaknesses and things like that. He was very famous for making people understand the real Dharma. There's so many incredible stories. Among them, what just comes in my mind is this. As I was mentioning to you, that we have to practice. If we don't practice, kind of like, it's hard. Oh, it's too hard. I give up. Maybe I'll do it next week, kind of like that, lazy. There's a very famous saying by this Mahasiddha, Drukpa Kunley. He once went to Chokhang Temple in Lhasa. Chokhang Temple is the famous temple where replica of Lord Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha's, our historical Buddha's replica, which was also, built at the time of the Buddha, when Buddha was alive. This is what makes that particular statue so precious and so important, because it was built during the time of the Buddha. The story goes something like Buddha's disciple, king, Buddha's disciple, king, wanted to get a permission from Buddha to build a replica of Buddha statue, And Buddha gave permission, it's okay. And then, interestingly, there was this very great artist in India, the greatest artist ever to live in the history, actually, from Buddhist point of view. The artist is called Vishwakarma. In India, there's a Vishwakarma Day, even to this day, celebrates. He's an incredible artist. And the interesting thing about this is, Vishwakarma was considered the king of art he was the supreme among all artists, king of artists. His name was the king, Jowo, king, the victorious, artist, king of artists. Him, he was alive when Buddha was alive. Then there was another interesting thing, was that there's greatest healer, medical doctor, also alive, time of the Buddha. And again, according to Buddhist history, and should be Indian history also, that particular doctor was the greatest doctor ever lived in our history. And so on. The reason why I mentioned it is a very unique thing. These two great beings, and then there were several other great Buddha's disciple kings also. There were, I think, if I remember, like the 4 king disciple ruling. They all had a same birthday as Buddha. That's the interesting part, you know. This healer and the king of art, artist, and there was 4 kings who all became Buddha's student. And they all had the same birthday as Buddha. Some very unique thing. And our Buddhist belief is because the time of the Buddha was so special, so unique, huh? So they had the best artist and the best healer and the best kings and the best of all, perfect Buddha was alive. So, seen as the kind of belief, you know, really, it really happened like that. Okay? Now, story about the king of the artists is that this Jowo statue in Lhasa, story is this king of art, the supreme artist, built that Buddha's replica. It's commissioned by a Buddha's disciple king, and he built it. That's the story. Yeah. And the further story is, as I remember from reading from Buddhist history books, this artist one wanted to, Buddha's measurement, Buddha's physical body measurement, you know, when he wanted to build a Buddha statue, and he cannot measure Buddha's measurement. And sometimes the measurement is so big, sometimes measurements like become small, and then he's like, he just cannot measure Buddha's physical body properly. And then the story is that the artist, this great artist, asked Lord Buddha, I'm not able to measure your body. The measurement is completely off all the time. Why is that? You know what Buddha said? Buddha says, you cannot measure perfect form body. You know, how are you going to measure perfection? You see? Buddha actually said that. Buddha said, you will not be able to measure. Therefore, Buddha himself gave the measurement. So, okay, you build according to this. Buddha actually gave the measurement. And based on that measurement, this Jowo statue was built. And the story is, those of you who went to Bodh Gaya Stupa, down the stairs there's a statue called Mahabodhi statue. And then if you go upstairs, there's a step up, go upstairs, there's another shrine, and there's no statue there. And the story was Jowo statue was there in the old days. And the statue came, this famous Jowo statue came from Buddhist king in India to Buddhist king in China, who were buddies, friends. And then Buddhist king in India gave his Buddhist king friend in China, because they had some profound karmic thing. They love each other so much, even though they're so geographically far apart, you know. That's the story. They love each other so much. And the king in India is so love his king friend in China. And he is like, he wants to express some of his love and affection and gratitude. And then the China king, emperor in China, was very devout Buddhist. And then Indian king, Buddhist kings, like, you know, the most precious possession that he had was Buddha statue. So he gave to his friend, China. So then that statue came to Tibet during the time of the Tibetan emperor time, you know, because Chinese princess married to Tibet, and then statue was a gift from father emperor to daughter who's going to marry to a Tibetan king. At that time, China was very civilized Buddhist, so and the Tibetan king looked like uncivilized and a little bit barbaric. From China's point of view, it was like that. So he felt very bad sacrificing his most precious princess daughter to this, king who was no Dharma, nothing over there type of thing. So he gave daughter Buddha statue. And so Chokang temple, Buddha statue there, right? So then this Mahasiddha, Drukpa Kunley, goes Chokang temple. And then Chokang temple and Mahasiddha says, look at Buddha and then says, primordially, he has quote, primordially, you and I are same. Talking to the statue, Buddha statue. Primordially, you and I are same, but you are, you persevere, you spiritually persevere, work hard, diligently, work hard, persevere, you became perfect Buddha. I was a lazy, he said. I didn't work hard, and I'm lazy, and therefore, I'm still stuck here, like this. And now it's time for me to bow to you, and I shall bow to you. This is the famous story, and it's a very profound meaning there. Very famous. So my point is hot, cold, a little bit pain, a little bit suffering, pleasant day, unpleasant day. No. You're going to steadfast, immutably, spiritually persevere. Then we're going to make it. Yeah. See, compared all the Buddhists and Bodhisattvas in the past, we are a little bit behind. But we'll make it. And compared to many other beings who've not even made it in the path, we are quite, quite a way in spiritual path and journey. Right? Today around lunchtime, Palden was asking me, he wants me to explain a little bit about, the particular thing that I was mentioning, which is like, you're all making quantum spiritual leaps. But can you say something about quantum leaps? Yeah. Practice like Nyungne, then you make quantum leap. Quantum leap is not just walking, but jumping. Literally. Yeah. The reason why I use this word is, we have a Buddhist saying, you will accumulate merit if you do a very powerful practice, powerful accumulation, powerful practice of purification. Your journey will speed up. I sometimes give an analogy of, say, Buddhahood being in terms of distance. Say, it's like a trillion mile away, say, Buddhahood from where we are. And then usually if you're walking, mile and mile, hundreds of miles, still a long way to trillion mile destiny, right? But quantum leap means like one leap you make 1,000,000 miles. This is what I mean. See? Yeah. And so in Buddhist terminology, we use words like eons and eons of time. You speed up. Meaning, ordinary virtue, virtuous deed, accumulation of merit, one little thing here, one little thing, and then you accumulate it. It might take one eon. Eons are a long, long time. Buddhist teaching definition of eons is like, time of actually, how do you say? Time of galaxy. Galaxy coming into form, to existence, and then eventually disintegration. It's a long time. Like that, This is where the words eons comes in. According to Buddhist cosmology, Our galaxy mm, mm, will be like, yeah, it's called, it takes total of 80 eons, 20 eons to form the galaxy. This is Buddhist calculation, okay? 20 eons to exist, 20 eons disintegrate, finally, long, long time. And then 20 eons, nothingness. Total of 80 eons, time of the galaxy. So it means it's a long, long, long time for, for formation, This is, if you use a geological time, then how long it takes to form Earth and becomes habitable and so on. So long, long, long period of time, right? So it's that kind of thing. So there's a total of 80 eon, like that, 80 minor eon form a one greater eons. So there's a minor eons, a greater eons. Long, long, long time. Yeah. So, yeah, so quantum leap, Nyungne practice. Chenrezig's blessing, if you sincerely do practice, 40,000 eon, karma will be purified. Meaning past negative karmas that you might have so much karma and past 40,000 eon karma completely wiped away. Remember, we're talking about infinite time pass. We have been existing. We will always exist. This is the thing. You have to solve this problem of existence once and for all. You see, we have always existed. We will always exist. We're not going to disappear away. I've had a conversation with people in the past, like, oh, life is so miserable. I wish in the night I have a very deep night's sleep. I never wake up. You see, in a way, understanding the meaninglessness of the life, struggle, difficulty. Oh, I wish I just go nice, deep sleep and never wake up again. It's wishful thinking. You cannot make yourself not exist. You see, this is the thing. 40,000 eons of past karma wipe out. And many of you have heard me say, but there's some new students here who have not heard this part, and that's I'll explain. In Nyungne teaching, it says, Chenrezig's one Nyungne, you will never fall into the lower birth. Yeah. And actual scriptural terminology, Nyungne doctrine terminology, shut the door to the lower birth. Door, entering door, that door is shut once and for all. This is actually term, So I didn't read this anywhere in the scripture. They might be possibly written somewhere, but I theorized this myself personally based on understanding how the karma works. You see, karma thing works. So this is my theory. And my theory is, if there is any karma pass that will pull you down to lower birth. So it's, like Buddhists talk about like Alaya consciousness, karma is stored in Alaya consciousness, all base consciousness, okay? And then karmas, whatever habitual patterns, tendencies, all manifest from that, all base consciousness, called Alaya consciousness. So, so karma to pull you down to lower birth, as far as 40,000 eon, This goes as far as 40,000 eons. Beyond that, the good news is, I think, this is my own theory, beyond 40,000 eons, there's lots of karma, but no powerful karma to pull you down. Yeah, this is my own, I didn't read anywhere. You know how, you have to now understand how the karma works. You know how karma works? You know, everybody who's alive today, rich, poor, successful, unsuccessful, brilliant, stupid, this, that, everybody, it's just temporary karma. You know? Okay? And what I mean is, you're just temporarily in that circumstance situation. That's all it means at this point, karma. What it also further means is temporary. What further means is that particular experience is the strongest karma you have in your past, and that manifests at first. That doesn't mean you didn't have a lot of good karma in your, okay, put it in my own theory, 40,000 eon past. Doesn't mean you don't have good karma, powerful good karma in 40,000 eons past. And doesn't mean you don't have powerful bad karma in the 40,000 eon past. You could have both, but particular manifestation right now, whatever happened, what it means, that's the most powerful karma you have. That's what you're experiencing right now. Yeah, see, like that. So now, change. The good news is, karma is ultimately also cause condition. You can have new karma, powerful new karma, like Nyungne practice. Once you part, then you solve that problem. You see, you can have new, or you could screw up completely too. You know, you could go either way. So once you start understand how things work, then you're like, oh, now you know. Now you're not talking about somebody, you're talking about our own future. So it makes sure, you know, we don't screw it up this time around, so to speak, you know. So quantum leap, Palten. So I say one Nyungne is like a million miles. Yeah. And then if you do, you know, interesting, if you do 8 consecutive Nyungne, then it has an additional benefit. So say like you do 8 continuous Nyungne, then it will be like 100 million miles. See? Something like that. Yeah, literally, you know. Yeah. Whereas like if you just do one Nyungne at a time will be 1 million mile, and another million mile, and another million mile. If you do 8 together, then will be, all of a sudden it will be like 100 million mile. Something like that, you know. Yeah, this is really important. One Nyungne, that's it. You will never fall into the lower birth. This is the benefit. 8 Nyungne, you enter into stream entry, it's called. You will never reverse from true enlightened path. You know, that's how important it is. And the next benefit is 25 Nyungne. 25 Nyungne, it's called once returner. This will be your last, you will have one more time. Yeah, you may have to come back one more time, karmic, but that will be it. And 50 Nyungne, then this will be your last. 100 Nyungne, you will make it before you even passed away. You will make it while you are alive. You can become an enlightened being. Like that. Benefits like, you know, enormous. Yeah. 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 So like that, you know, definitely seed is completely planted like that. Okay. Benefit of the Dharma is like incredible, incredible. It's all because of the Buddha's and Bodhisattva's blessing and Lord of love and compassion's gift that we're able to receive, which is, you know, the Buddha's compassion is so incredible. And you're like, just do this little thing, and then I can give you this much. I can help you. Let me help you. You just do a little thing like that, you know. Really, literally, like that, you know. Just a little bit. and then I can grant you this, you know. And it gives Chenrezig ability to grant us that much blessing, you know. Because Chenrezig cannot do anything if, even though he has infinite compassion for you, but you're not willing to do anything, then he can't help you. You just do a little bit, then he can help you so much. That's how, you see, that's the thing. I'm Buddhist evangelist, okay? Okay, that's it for today. Okay. During Nyungne, if you accidentally kill himself, what should we do in the Dharma? And then two, during silent days, what if we talk aloud in the No. How to purify? You accidentally kill, then accident killing is not intentional killing, but you still should say prayers, mantras, prayers, and mantra Om Mani Padme Hum for the insect, and then 100-syllable mantra to purify the vow. Okay, and the dream is not big deal. And if you are able to remember your dream, that somehow you're talking in dream, then have awareness that, you know, awareness to also refrain from talking. Dream is dream. You know, interesting. Even a bodhisattva vow, you know, vows, sudden violation in bodhisattva vow. If you're not in a correct mental state, if you're crazy, even alcohol, drunk, and so on, you make mistake, it's not considered a broken vow. Intention is important. Yeah, intention. You know, your intention is right. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Okay.